We want what it look like, but we don't want what it feel like. And I'm not going to say you. I didn't want to pay the price for the authentic thing. I didn't want to pay the price. I wanted to take a shortcut to get what it looked like. But it costs. And we have to be willing to pay the price to get the results that we really, really want. So that's why we got to keep doing the work.
All right, black man.
I couldn't help fathers until I began to help me. And when we're talking about doing the work is not always what we do for others. Doing the work starts with us. Because it's really hard for me to go and tell this dad who want to give up. Because I tell him all the time, man, it's easy to give up, and it's harder to stay. It's harder to stay. Right? I mean, we be transparent. We work with a lot of these fathers who have not have positive male role models, and they're used to walking away. They're used to abandoning not just their children, they're used to abandoning the mission because they don't know or have the resilience, don't think they have the resilience to keep powering through. And so early on, I used to get frustrated, but then I realized, like, yo, Shon, like, but what about yours? It's easy for you to say, just keep going. You at the crib with your children. You don't understand their plight. But it wasn't until I started doing the work. So when I went to the prison, I said, you know what? All right, I'm going to start doing this work. And I went reluctantly. People, I went reluctantly. And I went reluctantly because I had so much trauma surrounding my brother being murdered and hearing my father cry for the very first time. And so I'm like, man, you're going to send me to the prison to work with these individuals. And so my thing, like, I don't want to work with them. So if I have to work with them, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get them all converted. I said, I'm going to convert all of them. That's what's going to happen. After a few weeks, it's like, yup. Shon, that's not your role. Your role is not to convert. Your role is to serve. Your role is to serve. And so working with these men who was incarcerated, it taught me how to serve. When I'm sitting across from someone who's done some heinous things and I'm still dealing with my own trauma. And I'm still fighting and building at the same time. I'm like, man, this person is triggering me. But it's like, listen, Shon, it's not about you. It's about the assignment. Like, man, but how I'm gonna do both? So that's when I really became committed to really pouring into me. In my first, point that I want to drive home to you amazing people that's in here doing this work is like, it starts at home. It start with you. It start with like looking at the person in the mirror, because what happens, you look at, radio, we know these agencies right here, these companies, remember these companies? And I know I'm dating myself, right? Radio Shack. My daughter, who's sitting in the back somewhere, I promise you, she do not know what Radio Shack is. She never stepped foot into a Blockbuster, right? And when I think about these companies, they were so, that was the staple, right? That was the staple in the world at the time. Like, man, every Christmas, I'm like, I get the newspaper and I'm circling all the gifts that I want to get from Radio Shack, giving it to my mom. Like, Santa Claus, he's going to bring all of these things. And then you might get one. Well, I might get one of those suckers. Like, man, why Santa Claus never, why do I keep on believing in him? Because he never come through with all of the things that I asked for. Like, he never came through with it all. Like a couple, maybe, or a watered down version of it. And so when I think of these companies, the one thing that they all have in common is that they never evolved. that they never evolved. They never followed the trends. They never did the research. As amazing as they were and staples in our community and our society, they refused to evolve. Blockbuster was approached by Netflix, and they refused to listen. And now we can't find blockbusters. They no longer exist. And so I'm saying to you and I, it's like we have to evolve. We evolve or get left, right? We can't keep blaming. Like, I couldn't keep blaming my father for not being the man that I needed or wanted him to be. I just couldn't. Man, you did my mama wrong. Like, for real, he did do my mama wrong. He did do me wrong. But I can keep on saying that, but Shon, you got to eventually evolve. And I would never say just get over it. What I will say is do the work. And what does that work look like? I don't know. It takes what it takes. Right? It takes what it takes. I never tell people like, yo, just get over it. Just do it. No, I'm not going to tell you to do this. Why? Because what it costs me, cost you something totally different. I remember my family, my daughter's in the back. She'll tell you, we went to New York City one day on the way from New Jersey to come back to Michigan. I said, I'm going to take them to New York, and I'm going to show you why I used to shop in New York City, you know, with people on the side of the road. And I was driving, and I saw this dude with all of these bags out there. He had Gucci, he had Louis Vuitton, all of that. They was all, I was like, oh, pulled over real quick. Hopped out, talked to my man, was like, yo, how much this Louis bag? He was like, $75. I was like, oh, run it. So I went back to the car, got $75, gave him the money, got my bag, got in the car. My kid's like, Dad, like, that ain't Louis. That's fake, Dad. Like, I know, nobody don't have to know. But what it revealed to me, and so now I use it for a prop. But what I realize is like, we want what it looked like, but we don't want what it feel like. And I'm not going to say you. I didn't want to pay the price for the authentic thing. I didn't want to pay the price. I wanted to take a shortcut to get what it looked like. But it costs. And we have to be willing to pay the price to get the results that we really, really want. So that's why we got to keep doing the work.
All right, black man.
But that's why we have to keep doing the work, like wherever we are. Like, what does it cost? I don't know. That's why I don't tell you to get over it, because I don't know what it's going to cost you. But I had to pay the price. I could have said, no, I'm not going to keep going. I'm not going to keep doing the work. No, but I had to figure it out.